conventionally we refer to media people as men. Yes, as gentlemen. No offense intended at all. So, now, again, good morning and welcome to this press conference. And thank you for lending us your time to be here to listen to us. We have called you this morning to, through you, get to the public. We are introducing something that is novel in this campaign. Well, you are very much aware of the various channels of communication that we have been employing and using to propagate our policies, the policies and action plans of the party and of the candidates, Tinubu and Shettima, since the campaign started. We've employed on top of the table, under the table, overt, direct and indirect advocacy campaigns for various moves and strategies that we have been employing in making sure that the Nigerian public are well aware of all that we have been doing in terms of marketing our candidates and in terms of ensuring that Tinubu and Shettima are the best combination to drive Nigeria from where it is now into the next level. And Tinubu, we base our real projections on the fact that when you look at the antecedents of these two, their track records of performance, their experiences, common and selective exposures in governance, in the public life of Nigeria, beginning with even the struggle for this democracy that we all seem to have taken for granted today. There is none contending in the horizon for the presidency of this country that has the experience, exposure, commitment, passion, and a sense of responsibility to nurture and maintain and sustain democracy as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he has paid his dues in terms of commitment and struggle for the enthronement of this our democracy. So therefore, and not to even go into other details of governance capacity, managerial acumen, a sense of responsiveness and responsibility, vision, knowledge, courage, all that he has amply demonstrated as exemplified by the yeoman's job that he has done in Lagos, raising Lagos from obscurity in terms of revenue generation, in terms of financial wizardry, in terms of infrastructural development, to the 5th largest economy in Africa. And these are factors that nobody can actually controvert, that the opponents cannot come to the table with. They cannot debate. So therefore, we have come again to, through you, introduce another dimension into this campaign. There is an app that we have developed that is going to be launched here this morning, and that is the reason that we have called you. This app is mainly targeted at the youth, but anybody. In fact, we are appealing to all and sundry to download the app. The details will be explained by the Director of Strategic Communication, who is on my left here, Alhaji Muhammad Idris. On my right here, you know him very well, the Director of Media and Publicity, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, and the Assistant Director of Strategic Communication, Mr. Lanre, Deputy Director, Strategic Communications Directorate, who is actually the man of the moment, because he is the technical man on this very novel app that we are introducing. So he will still be talking to you. And my brother here, please, yes, the Secretary of the media and strategy communication. But you look like the Secretary of the Media and Publicity. Yeah, maybe because of the cap. You know, he wears the same. So my colleagues here will still be talking to you in details, especially the Director of Strategic Communication and his deputy, because this is coming. It's a combination of efforts between the Strategic Communications Directorate and the Media and Publicity Directorate. Both directorates have combined their resources, energy, brain to come up with this app. And without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, I will hand you over to the Director of Strategic Communications to give you the details before the technicalities to be propagated by Mr. Larry Onilu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Alake, for Tinubu Shetima campaign has come up with. You all know that most of those that we expect to be at the polls on the 25th of January and subsequently are usually the youth, people under the ages of 30 and below. And therefore, we thought out of the box to see that we have brought out something that will enable them to understand what Asiwaju and Shetima represent and what the hopes are for the Nigerian nation once they are elected into office. So as he has said, this briefing is about telling you about this app. Of course, my deputy, Mr. Larry Onilu, will give you the technical aspects of it, but I welcome you and give you a synopsis of what it's all about. Gentlemen, Mr. Laki has said that everybody here is a gentleman. Apologies to the women journalists who are here. You are welcome to the launch of the pivotal strategic communications tool of our Presidential Campaign Council that is called the Thinking Caps app. The Thinking Caps, as in these caps that I'm wearing, is actually an epithet used to depict our presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his running mate, Senator Kashim Shetima, as possessing the requisite capacity to think out of the box to procure lasting solutions to the diverse socio-economic challenges confronting our nation. The demographic analysis of our population shows that youth aged 35 and below continue to constitute over 60% of our population. It then means that Nigeria is a very young country, too young to know that there was a world without computers, without GSM, and to some extent without the internet, not to talk about other social media platforms. As far as these youth are concerned, the EndSARS protest that happened a few years ago was the biggest civil disobedience and fight for citizens' rights that has ever happened. They didn't know that there was anything like the struggle for democracy as we had in June 12 and, and things like that. They cannot, therefore, understand that the older population they cannot understand what the older population mean when they talk about military rule and how rights and privileges of citizens were curtailed. They have no idea that some people came face to face with the gun-wielding soldiers and have paid supreme price in many cases for democracy to be enthroned in this country. They are not familiar with what it means to be pro-democracy activists, and the sacrifices they made culminated in the democracy that we enjoy today. Suffice is to say that 60% of our population did not witness this event and have no idea or knowledge about all this. They are not able to make informed choices, especially within the frontrunners of this campaign in this race, with particular reference to the candidature of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Not many young people are aware of the kind of sacrifices that Asiwaju has made in the enthronement of democracy before this time. This is where the Thinking Caps app comes in. It is a bridge. It is brought in here to bridge the knowledge gap amongst the younger generation and rally majority of this demography behind the Tinubu Shetima ticket. When we say Tinubu's Lagos, for instance, they wonder what we mean. When they were either unborn or too young to know that the hitherto nature of Oshodi, Mushi, Obalande, Ojo Legba, CMX, amongst others, ever existed in the form they did. They don't know that Lekki was or is the existential threat that Victoria Island faced because of the ocean surge. They have no idea of the state of Lagos infrastructure or the general quality of life of Lagosians before Tinubu became governor. Same way, they have no idea about the great achievements of Senator Kashim Shettima as governor of an insurgency-ridden Borno State. We have a responsibility, therefore, to fill this knowledge gap and educate this critical demography with facts about our opponents. This app educates the youth about the 16 years of misrule under the PDP administration. With the launch of the app today, we are poised to uniquely tell our story and market our candidate in the best way we can and see how they also stand out among the crowd. The app will have a quiz feature, which will be a means of educating the youth by getting them to attempt questions, have fun, and be informed. A quiz session contains about 10 questions. Participants will be shown the correct answer for any question missed. Therefore, when they attempt these questions and they are unable to get the answers will still pop up for them. And for those who are able to get the correct answers, there will be some kind of reward for that. The objective, of course, is to ensure that youth, irrespective of their political affiliation, get educated about the immediate past, our candidates, the APC government, and, of course, the opposition. Other functionalities include newsfeed, where end users can read news and articles about the campaign, gallery icon, where audio, infographics, and video content can be viewed and shared on various social media platforms. The app also has the capacity to directly engage the 93.4 million registered voters. Of course, you know that INEC has come up with a figure of 93.4 million voters. So even though this app is targeting at the youth, it is also designed to inform the entirety of all those that are registered to vote in the coming election. This, therefore, will come handy in the last lap of our campaigns to ensure we push out the vote. Now, the whole idea is for people to get educated so that they can come out en masse and vote for Asiwaju and Kashim Shettima ticket. The Thinking Caps app is available on Play Store. It is also available on Apple Store and that can be downloaded through the link #thinkingcaps.org/. With only 24 days to the general elections, the time to convince the electorate to secure an emphatic victory cannot be more auspicious. The Thinking Caps app, therefore, is our modest intervention to get this done so that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu can install the renewed hope that he has promised Nigerians for the benefit of all Nigerians. Like I said earlier, the Deputy Director, Strategic Communication, Mr. Lanre Isa Onilu, will take us through the technical aspects of this app. Once again, gentlemen of the press, you are welcome.
I just want us to listen and watch what they are going to show us. You can see from that, you can see. Okay.
And download the app, Thinking Caps. Complete your registration by filling all the required details, which includes your name, email address, and phone numbers. And until you sign up, your login details so you can log in easily at any other time. If you forget your password, don't worry. You will be able to reset it. This is the reason why we're very now to friends and with the app. So whatever you do, up to your app to Play Store now and download the Thinking Caps app today.
Okay, I think that's not very good enough to be. And so many issues that we discussed today are alien to them, and they cannot appropriately understand in context some of the things that we say. And some of the points being made when we say 16 years of PDP was a waste, and there were years of the locust. And when we also say that Lagos is Tinubu's Lagos, that the Lagos that we know today, that sounds so strange to their experience. So we need to link the past with what they know. As far as they are concerned, as the Director of Strategic Communication said, the world started with the social media. So they never knew people protested in this country before EndSARS, and that people have always been fighting to ensure that our rights are respected, and that some people paid the price either with their lives or properties or times or resources or materials or wealth to ensure that we have this freedom that we have today. So we also understand that for them to make informed decisions as we approach the day of election, then it is important for them to know all these issues. And how do we get them to know it? We have to relate with them with their own tool. The youth, as we know, more than us, are very conversant with these social media tools, the modern new media tools. So we have developed this hub. The main purpose of the hub, and I want us to get that clear very well, the main purpose, the only or the central objective is to educate them about all these issues that they are at sea with, that they don't understand. And in doing that, we also take advantage of the fact that the features, most of the video, the clips that we are producing, the audios, the infographics, are also going to be deployed through this app nationwide. You could clip on the video and share to as many platforms as you want. You can download. You can do all of sort. And our daily news from the campaign will also be uploaded and shared widely and nationwide and elsewhere, abroad, everywhere, through the app. And the app also, as we speak, has the entire 93.4 million voters, ready, and we can reach them at the press of a button and deliver our messages to them. So the quiz aspect, which is the main tool that we are trying to use to connect these people to the kind of knowledge, to bridge the gap, in their knowledge about this country, about what happened in the past and what we have today and things like that. So the quiz, we have about 1,200 questions with answers. And each question has 5 options in terms of answers. And one of the 5 options is correct. And you ought to play the quiz per session. A session of the quiz contains 10 questions. So if you go through a session, you will have attempted 10 questions. And by the time you finish, you would submit, and then you would be provided the answers to the ones you missed. Because the purpose is to make you understand these issues. So you will see the answer. And whatever you got correctly, you would be given instant airtime as reward, equivalent to what you got correctly. Directly, instantly, automatically to your phone, will be credited with airtime for educating yourself about your country. And we thought that would be fun for the youth. And the objective of the campaign also will be achieved in terms of getting them to understand the issues. You will try to engage them on the social media on issues, and then you would be taken aback at the kind of huge gap in knowledge that you would see them exhibit. And it is important for us, not just for even the election, it is important for us that our youth, who are over 60% of our population, understand where we are coming from and understand the characters who have been involved and the roles they have played as individually and as a group or as institutions. So this is what this app is all about. If you look at the screen here, you see a typical question. That is number 10. That's the last question in that session. I'm not able to read from here. And then when you finish, say the red portion is showing you the one that you missed and giving you the correct answers. I don't know if anybody can see that and read it out. Who is the first governor in Nigeria to promote digital economy through the digitization of tax administration to improve revenue generation? In the question session, you will have seen the 5 options. So the person chose Nasir El-Rufai, and that was wrong. So he got the correct answer to say Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. So by the time, and it is done in a way that you have enough time to even go online to get the answers. The idea is not for you to miss the questions. The idea is for you to seek knowledge. So if you need 1 hour to go and look for answers, you do that. And in the process, we have succeeded in getting you to get adequate knowledge. Why do we need this? We need this because we are on the side of the truth. It is the person that is on the side of the truth that pushes people to say, go and seek knowledge. Because as the Bible says, that the truth will set you free. So I will know when you know the truth, you will be free from prejudices that you are holding, with some self-deceit that is going on, with some delusional, standpoint that some people are having about what is going on, and some falsehoods that have been spread all over the place. So people are going to be empowered because knowledge empowers people. So that is the essence of this. So not to take too much time, I encourage everyone to download the app. It is available on Apple Store. It is available on Play Store. It is available on Play Store, and anybody can participate in it.
Now we can entertain questions. The demographic target for this app is actually the youth, but it's also relevant to everybody. But you and I would also agree that with the youth, they are more adept at latching onto these apps and IT and computer and all of that because it's their age anyway. Now, I can assure you that within 24 hours, you'll be shocked at the amount of, traction this would have gained. In fact, in testing alone, when the idea, without launching, without anything, just putting it up and testing the reception and the traction, it was overwhelming, even without this launch at all. So the traction is on. This is just to sensitize more and formally launch it. And I can assure you that in politics, 24 hours is a very long time. And we have 24 days. Things happen with frenetic pace in politics. So it is not late. Yes, we could have come up with it 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, or whatever. But it is never late because this is something that is electronically operated. It is not a manual thing as such, that you'll be required to go physically to one place to start punching buttons and stuff like that. You have your devices with you, 24 hours. You go with it. And the younger generation actually live, dream, breathe, eat these things. So they are really more adept at it. In short, It is not late at all. It is gaining traction even as we speak now, because when it was put on, when the app was put up, it started gaining traction, just to test it. You know, so we are very comfortable that the timing is not against us at all. So Larry would want to add any technicalities. You can do very little to reduce the amount of misinformation. What you can do, which is in your control, is to correct the amount of misinformation. The volume of misinformation as it cascades is not within your own control, because you don't control the mischief of those who are churning out these things. The only thing you can do is to keep correcting those misinformation. And in any case, the Twitter and all of those apps, they were downloaded before you started using them. Exactly. They had to be downloaded. So if you don't download the Twitter apps, you don't also have access to it. So in the same vein, you download this, and then you start having access to it.
In addition to what the advisor has said, actually, if you look at what, now if there is misinformation, there will also be questions that will be asked, and then answers provided, you know, with a view to providing, you know, the pathway to the correctness of some assertions that some people may have made. So, on the contrary, it will actually even help, you know, to answer some of those misinformation that you find on Twitter, on Facebook, and other platforms. This is a novel way of creating awareness. If, for example, somebody says something about us, we then put it out there. We put the correct information, and then the young people can go there and find out the correct answer. That's why the deputy director said, even if you miss the answer, the idea is not an examination. You miss the answer, the idea is to inform you. So even if you miss the correct answer will be provided for you so that you can be educated about it. Thank you.
It's very simple. You know, there's really nothing spectacular about what he has said. And it's even self-explanatory. He did say that some people, he never said the president, and in any organization, including your own individual media houses, you have your editorial policies. And there are elements within your organizations that don't agree with those editorial policies, but they still work there. So it is not a spectacular thing. It is nothing to glare about. It is merely a natural phenomenon in all organizations, in all institutions. You cannot have 100% of all the operatives in an organization seeing issues exactly the same way. However, it is the preponderance of views that matter, the mainstream. Now, in terms of the presidency, who is the power base? The commander-in-chief. He holds all the aces. So we do not expect that all his staff would actually see eye to eye with him, but they are still there. Because again, you also need perspectives from various angles. That is why we even say, our own principal, our presidential candidate, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, I have always said it often, and I will repeat it. One of his strengths is to accommodate dissenting views within his own milieu. And I have a personal experience of this, and I continue to have it. We sit down when we were strategizing and planning policies and all that. We argue a great deal. And it's one leader, in my experience, that has a very large heart, whose horizon is so wide, who is so accommodating of opposing views, with a view to reaching a logical conclusion from which policies, germane policies, come out. And the example is what you have in Lagos today. So for El-Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State, stating the obvious is nothing to glare about. We know that mischief makers, the opposition, will latch on it and twist it out of context. But that is the way of the opposition, especially the opposition that we are contending with in Nigeria today. And I make bold to say, and you can quote me, the opposition, the PDP opposition that we have today in Nigeria has been conducting the most pernicious, divisive, abusive, invective, and most irresponsible campaign in the history of this country. They lack the issues. They have no issues, no track record, nothing, no record of performance to put before the Nigerian voters. So what do? They resort to personal abuses, fabricating false, fake stories to denigrate our principal, our presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, issuing and churning out all kinds of lies, ludicrous, ridiculous, and the mundane, because they have no track record of performance to push out to the public. And in any case, we absorb all of this. Why? Because we know that our candidate is the candidate to beat. He's the front runner in this race. And where I come from, my part of the country, there is an adage that says that it is only the tree full of fruits that people throw stones at. You can't get anybody throwing stones at a tree that is barren, that is bare. So the PDP and others are barren, they are bare. So Asiwaju is the only fruitful candidate, and that's why all of them are throwing stones at him. We understand that. But that has never won them any election. And this will not be different. It will also not win them this election, because Nigerians are discerning. They can see through their shenanigans. Thank you.
So is there anything Africans will do to win these people who are opposed to Bola Tinubu in the presidency to your side?
Look, the most important person in the presidency that I've said is the president and commander-in-chief. And the man has reiterated it often and often and often that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is his party's candidate. And he has appealed that you should vote for him. Is the one who is coming to consolidate on his achievements and address whatever challenges remaining. And why? Because he has the managerial competence, he has the administrative acumen, he has a track record of experience and performance. Look, it is not a fluke. Neither Atiku, nor Obi, nor any other person in the horizon contending today for the presidency can point at lasting legacies that they have left in the areas or anywhere they ran before in public office. Obi was governor for 8 years. Point at any enduring legacy of Obi today in Anambra. Atiku was vice president for 8 years. Point at any enduring legacy, whether in Adamawa or even in Nigeria, that was an initiative of Atiku that you can point at today. Now, when I begin to reel out the enduring legacies envisioned and executed by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it's a litany. It goes on and on. So therefore, and I often said, Nigerians are the employers. These people are applicants. They are applying for the job of the presidency of Nigeria. Now, if you are on a panel to interview applicants, what's the first thing you ask for? Their CV, their experience, track record of performance, so that you can make an informed judgment. So if these people bring out their track record of performance, experiences, exposure, whether in politics, in democratic struggle, in governance, in envisioning, in demonstrating knowledge, or projecting courage, they are nowhere to be found. Asiwaju stands heads and shoulders above any of them. Sentiments apart, emotions apart. Thank you.